I was going to say it's been a while since I've been here, but I say that every time because every single time I go on stream, it's always after a long period of time where I'm gone. There's never a time when I'm consistently here, but I realize something. It doesn't matter because I'm living my life. Okay, like I don't know what to do about you, chat. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna be real with you. Sometimes, like I go out, I live my life, and I think to myself, "Wow, it's really nice to live my life again." And then I think about the fact that I've left you all alone, and I'm like, "Shit," you know what I mean? It's like when you have a child or a pet, and you leave them home alone for a bit because you want to go and like have a date with your partner. You want to go eat something, or you want to just go out and like have fun. And then all of a sudden, it's like 4 a.m. and you're like, shit, I really gotta get home because like I haven't fed my child, whether it's an animal or a person. I haven't fed them both times, right? So it's in like both cases. So it's like I have to figure something out. But you really don't want to go back. Single parents won't know this. Anyways, welcome to today's stream, everyone. Sorry about the fact that I've been gone for a while. As always, wife days go a bit longer because I like to spend time with my wife. It was a lot of fun actually. That's suspicious for me to say that. Sorry, that's just a weird thing to say. Sorry. I didn't mean like that, but I do mean like I'm just saying that it's nice to spend time with your partner. It doesn't matter what you do; it's nice to spend time. But but things happen. Yeah, sure. We're ants, worms in your ant farm. Yes, you're ants or worms in my ant farm. Now, what's funny is that we're going to get a plastic duck diorama sooner than we'll ever get something involving worms or ants, which is a bit of that's a mistake on my end. I really should have thought I really did think about getting like an ant farm, and I was gonna use AI to try and like track the ants, so you could choose your ant, and then that would be your ant. The problem is that ants don't live very long. I found out they get recycled very often, actually. And they also don't appreciate AI taking their jobs because the pheromones. If you use AI, then what's the point of the pheromones? So, unfortunately, I can't send you ant pheromones, but so you just had to believe that the ants were there. But yeah, we will maybe get something soon-ish. You will probably get something soon-ish in for your person. Like you will have the ability to create your own person very soon. It's something that I've been working on for a couple months that I never really got time to. And then actually, so this time was actually very interesting. What is that? What Omega Ant? What kind of email is this? Megalodon V2. What is this? I'm going to 7TV. I'm gonna make my own ant emote. All right, I'm gonna find my own ants. Ants on 7TV. Perfect. That's the best emote I've ever seen in my life. It's the ants from A Bug's Life, but it's the hitchhiking. It's when he was hitchhiking. Oh, there's even oh my god, this is good. Ants grab. Wait, okay, that's really good. It's pants grab, but with ants. It's the same. It's the pants grab emote, but with ants. That's genius. Oh, we have a dancing ant. Wow, there's a whole colony of ants. XDD Weaver. There's a Dota 2 Weaver ant emote. What is this? There's a homeless ant. Okay, well the homeless ant is just the ant emote, but it's like reused. They just changed the name on it. Well, what is this? Okay, there's an emote of somebody they're doing gang signs, but they're like an ant. What? What's that? What is this? Okay, page 2 of 7TV. Let me just show you this. There's something wrong with page 2 of 7TV. Because page 1 is like pretty good. Page 1 has some pretty good comedy, right? Like, yeah, pants grab, ants grab, like that's funny. Okay? Row 2 immediately goes into clip art, which isn't necessarily the worst thing ever, into whatever this is. What is this? Why is it just throwing up gang signs, man? I don't think ants have signs. Ants have pheromones. Ants like smell. It's like okay, I will say this. If you've never been in a relationship, the way that somebody smells tells you a lot about their condition. You ever like take a deep sniff of somebody and you go, "You smell off today," or like you smell somebody and they smell sad, but or you smell someone and they smell happy. Backshot ant. That's the best emote I've seen yet. Holy shit! Do you see this? It's an image of an ant attacking a human, but it's backshot ant. The ant meta on the emotes actually goes crazy. For ant, ant. What is this? Antsy horny, ant lift, ant lift. Oh my god, there's so many ant emotes. We can just keep adding these, chat. Backshot ant honestly is really good. Antenna Moroki ant. Oh, for Annie. Oh, rest in peace, Annie. Antichrist. What? I'm not gonna. Okay, this is starting to get a little. Okay, this is starting to get a little. Okay. Okay, I don't know about this one. Okay. We can stop looking at it now. Okay, it's starting to delve into weirder topics. It's starting to get a little crazy there. I just want funny clip art ants. I just want funny ants in like various situations, like ant lift or backshot ants. I don't want these other emotes that make me go, ooh, this is kind of risque. But yeah, while I was gone, had a good conversation with my wife, and she was like, you know what? You've been talking about doing the thing for so long that you might as well do it. Because I was talking to her about the various projects that I wanted to get into, but she was like, you just keep talking about them, but you never really do it because you're afraid of doing it. And I was like, damn, honey, you know how to cut to my core. She's really good at cutting to my core. She's a very, very sort of straightforward person, and she knows how to really delve deep into your emotions. I'm sort of the opposite, where I can read people's emotions, but I don't know my own emotions. And I'm also very roundabout with how do I approach the emotions, because I'm too nice in many different ways, right? And so when my wife said that, I was like, yeah, you're right. So this project that I started a long time ago that I never bothered finishing, I'm going to try and finish it. I'm going to try to finish it by the end of this month, like for sure. I'm actually pushing on this pretty hard. And I'm going to see how it goes. But because of that, streams will not be like 8 hours. They'll be like 5 hours or 6 hours. Except for today, because today we're doing something interesting today. Today, we're going to be playing some Tales and Tactics. There's a really cool new update, which I think is absolutely fantastic so far. But we're not doing PvP probably, unless there's other chat members with the game. Then I'll PvP you because I'm going to show you how good I am at the game. But I will say this: I've always lost in round one of the PvP game, so I don't really know how to. I don't know how people win in round one. I feel like it's the Bazaar or any other PvP game where you early. Especially in League of Legends, I'm like, I lose the first 5-10 minutes, but I come back like a monster at 15 to like 20. And I don't know what to do. It's just a time thing. It's like you have to wait for enough time. I've also got some interesting songs to show you and some interesting things to talk about, mainly around my dog and her behavior. So I actually discovered something recently about my dog's behavior, Missy. If you remember and you recall Missy and what she sort of looked like, which I hope that you don't, because my wife, she was like, I really hope no one remembers what she looks like because they can easily find this. And I was like, no, they won't find this. But apparently my wife loves posting it, so I had no clue. The thing about Missy that I remember telling you all about, and the thing that I showed you all on the camera many times, she's incredibly cuddly. She hates being alone. She actually hates being alone. She's actually one of the most annoying dogs I've ever met. Because you will just be lying down and she'll decide that your neck is the place to be. And she'll look at your neck and she'll be like, that's a nice seat. And she lays her entire body across your neck, such that all you feel is the gurgles of her stomach, because she refuses to eat anything but human food. So it's like, there's something interesting about the way that she acts, right? But the thing that really got to me is that I was trying to figure out for a long time why sometimes she would sleep under the blanket and sometimes she would sleep on my neck. And I couldn't figure out a consistent rhyme or reason to it. I found the answer. It's the fan. She believes in the Korean fan death theory. And I don't know if you've ever heard of this. And this is my headcanon. This is obviously not true. Well, I don't know if it's true or not, actually. But listen, there's a theory in Korea that you can die because a fan is blowing at your face. Obviously, this is kind of ludicrous because there's no way that can possibly happen. But there's enough of a belief in it that every fan in Korea comes with a timer knob. So you can't have a permanently running fan. Imagine it's the middle of summer, 2 a.m. You're in Korea, okay? You're in South Korea. One of the hottest places in the world, probably. Just because it's in Asia, and I just assume most of Asia is really hot because of my experiences in Asia. And you go there, and it's 2 a.m., and you were enjoying a nice fan blowing on you to deal with the heat, and all of a sudden it turns off automatically, and it says some like cool phrase, because all of their technology like talks to you for some reason. I've never known a piece of Korean technology that doesn't talk to you, and if you ever have a piece of Korean technology, I want you to think about this. If you have a washing machine, it talks to you. You have a drying machine that talks to you. You have a shower, it talks to you. You have like a rice cooker. I'm not even kidding you. All of this stuff has voice control inside of it. And I don't know why voice control and voice sound effects became so popular within the sort of like specifically the Samsung line, but I think also within the LG line to some degree of like stuff. Whereas like in the West, if you take like I don't know like any like or if you take any power tool, I don't know, it like doesn't talk to you, right? Most things don't talk to you, but for some reason, home appliances, South Korean home appliances talk to you, and I don't know why. So just like look at that, just recognize that, and then it says a phrase, and you hear it, and you're like, God damn it, it's gone. Obviously, there's a bunch of explanations, like you would get heat stress or you would die from asphyxiation, which apparently happens to my dog. So I think this is why my dog can't survive, because when the fan is on, and for a long time she had this weird cough that we couldn't figure out. We even took it to the vet, but they were like, yeah, she's fine. There's actually nothing wrong with her. She suffers from fan death. She suffers from a form of fan death where she gets asphyxiated by the fan. So the fan is on. It blows at me because I want to feel the cold air. Like if you have a fan on, but it doesn't blow the cold air at you, it's sort of useless. Oh, it's not really useless. Like you do get the flow of air and it does move the air, but if it's hot air, it doesn't feel good. So you got to like move it away, right? There's a good video about it from Brew, the Mac OS package manager. What is Brew? You might not wake up. What a fan does to your body when you're asleep. This is pseudoscience. I've been sleeping with an active fan for months now, and I'm only dead on the inside. So true. Sounds like something parents tell kids to not rack up the energy bill. So true. I slept with a fan on for 8+ years. No need to worry, lads. This person is like, you know, the type of person who uses the phrase lads is either 15 or 50. You don't really know. I'm surprised you never mentioned the simple laws of thermodynamics. Okay, this is the length of the comment and the opening sentence are directly correlated, buddy. There's a direct correlation between the topics that you're touching on and the length of your sentence. This is a shit post. The comment section is for shit post. Fans cannot destroy heat, while the air immediately in front of the fan feels like cooler because it's blowing the air. The fan is very warm. The room is sealed up with the fan is slightly near the room, so no, you're not going to catch up with it. Is any fan powerful enough and quiet enough to give me hyperthermia in the middle of summer while sleeping? I want it. Yes, I know we're not watching the video. I don't think it's... This is the thing about React content, right? Why react to the video when you can react to the comments? Because the comments tell you basically the same story. Lads, pinched finger emoji. How people can sleep in complete silence confuses me. I need that soothing fan noise. You have tinnitus. Did somebody say this? I second this. White noise. I don't. I sleep in complete silence for many years, resulting in me twitching every time sleep paralysis sets in, and then suddenly I sleep to the complete and utter silence, making paranoid, always paranoid at night. What? I literally can't sleep. I'm almost 57 and I've slept with a fan my whole life. I'm sleeping with several fans in my lifetime. It's safe as long as you use protection. Basically, Missy suffers from this. Like when the fan is blowing at her, she coughs or she sneezes. That's why she sleeps under the blanket. So one night I was like, okay, honey, let's try sleeping without the blanket. Missy climbed immediately onto my neck and I was like, this is it. This is the way to live life. This is what I was missing. And I was like, honey, can we keep the fan off? But my wife, she was like, I'm sweating. No. Because she was like, honey, you're a furnace. Apparently, I heat up to like a very ludicrous amount during the nighttime. Which explains why when I wake up, I'm extremely sweaty. I think it would be interesting if you do a video about Legionella pneumophila. We call it the air conditioning bacteria in Italy. What? My aunt died from it. Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. Sorry. I didn't mean to... My aunt died from it. Unfortunately, this is how I discovered. I don't know why I laughed. Sorry. This doesn't sound real. What? What? I really love your videos. You made medicine my passion. What? I'm hoping to go to the best medical university in my country. You really? I don't think you should be. I don't think you should be anywhere near a medical facility. What? Italy, but Japanese and Cyrillic. What are you? No, Chinese, sorry. What are you? What? Who are you, man? What? Italy, Cyrillic, English, Chinese, Italian name. What? What is this? What is going on in this channel? Mute this tab. Tips that can help you change your lifestyle and protect the environment. That is, they are the most chameleon person. About Legionnaire's disease, it says Russian recipe. Okay, I know exactly what happened. They found a cool Russian recipe for like a food, right? And then they made it, and then they simply Google translated it over. It's the same as like somebody who's like, it's the same as seeing a video from somebody from like from like North America, and they go, "You won't believe what the Chinese were hiding," and then they make a recipe about barbecue pork. But they don't say it's like barbecue pork. They use the Chinese name within their title, and it's like, okay, listen, man, I don't know how to tell you this, but this is it's one of the most basic recipes that we have. Not to say that it's like the super basic, but it's like, of the recipes that we have, it's one of the more staple ones that's sort of done and very easily in like a street food setting. Legionnaire's disease it affects amoeba and freshwater protozoa. I don't know if this is because of the washing machine. Do you know there's a guy for emotes for oh yeah, also so this is a very programming update, but I actually started using Emacs. I need to explain myself. One, I just wanted to try it out because I was like, okay, listen, the Editor Warriors stopped. The Editor Warriors. Is there like a Wikipedia page on it? The Editor Warriors. No, what? The Editor War. Wait, I need like a I don't know World War II soundtrack. I don't know, like World War II documentary soundtrack. Apocalypse World War II. World War II in HD color. That's a picture of. Okay, I can't use that because that's a picture of a certain person. Okay, well, I was hoping for like, I don't know. What? Daily Dose of History oral sex shorts? No. No. Chat? Oh my fucking god. There are AI comic shorts involving AI Hitler. What the fuck has society gotten to, man? Look, the music of... Okay, well, I was going to use, like, war music, but... The editor words are now dead. But I was like, you know what? Let me try out a new editor and see how it's going, okay? Because the main thing that I wanted to try it out for was not this guy. Who I was actually... I don't... Can I say something about... Okay, there's multiple topics here. One, what is with the cult of personality that technology has taken on from its very inception? I've even suffered from it when I was in my younger days, and I don't understand. There's something about the way that we love to suck off each other's penises. Not to say that that's a bad thing, but like in this case, it's not done for pleasure. It's done because we believe that that's that's like the thing we have to do. But it's not something we have to do. You can enjoy the thing itself without having to submit yourself to another person in their entire being, right? You don't have to like convince yourself that this person deserves your admiration and like respect. Like, I don't care about these people, man. I just want to use the thing. Not to say that like caring about the person behind is necessarily a bad thing, but it gets very cultish, and I don't really know why. But the editor thing especially gets very, very cultish. Because so the reason why I wanted to try Emacs was because of org mode, which is actually kind of cool. So org mode is a way for you to just take a bunch of notes. It's basically what Obsidian was, except without the backlinks. But the key difference is that I wanted to use it for one particular feature, which is probably the best feature in the entire thing that I tried to replicate with Obsidian but didn't really work, is with org capture. Because very often when my notes get to a certain point and I use it for certain things, I end up duplicating information that's already somewhere else. Code is the one place where this happens the most, but other parts of my life have this too, where I'll be in a code base and I'll write like a to-do for me to do something, right? But I still need to keep track of it in a central place in some way. But I'm not going to use an issue tracker for my life because that's sort of like that LinkedIn post. You guys ever see this LinkedIn post here? Look, there's a LinkedIn post here. There's a very good LinkedIn post here. Let me just see. LinkedIn. Why did Robin fuck no? Eurovision no. Loser City no. Where is it? It's somewhere on my phone. Fuck. Where's the LinkedIn? Fuck. It's like this dude on LinkedIn who was like, time to recalibrate. Actually, I can show you. Reddit, LinkedIn, Lunatics. A subreddit for insufferable LinkedIn comments. Even for board members, respect. What the fuck is this? That's actually, dude. This would go hard. This would go hard in fan fiction. Okay, I know it's AI slop. This would go so hard in the fan fiction. This is like the most sexual thing I've ever seen. This is some of the hottest shit I've ever seen in a long time. This is some hot shit, man. This is it. Holy shit. Even for board members, respect manners. It's like I don't think they know. I think they think this means something different. Even look at the faces of the dudes in the back. They're all like getting off on this, man. This is some hot shit, dude. Holy hell. Anyway, so basically, hi, hey, Huddy, hey. Who are you? I'm married. Anyway, so starting a new business. You have no idea. This whole thing is about the annoying people on LinkedIn who believe that it's like a real thing. So let's go to like, I don't know, this week or something, right? And it's stuff like PTO. I just don't get it. Why should employees get paid for not working? You work, you get paid. No work, no pay. It's just the sort of absurdity that sort of comes with the space, right? Where am I even going with this? Actually, where am I going with this? Well, why do you even get on this topic? A bird shit on you today, so it's something of a big deal. Did you buy? Okay, how many of you have this superstition? In my culture, when a bird shits on you, you go and you buy a lottery ticket because that's how you make money. So you go and you buy a lottery ticket, and then you go and you take that lottery ticket and you spend your earnings on more birds so they can shit on you more. My theory is that if you win the lottery because of a bird shit, you should buy a farm of birds and have them shit on you all day long, and you keep buying lottery tickets. You got a cool Pokemon card on TCG Pocket. Does that count? Do you have Misty? If no, don't talk to me. I'm just kidding. I didn't try to get Misty. I've been trying to get the unknown card though, the unknown card, but it's been very, very hard. Shitters. It's a shiny Venusaur. Who cares about Venusaur? You know what it is? Some Pokemon are cool, right? Like Unknown and Mewtwo. Other Pokemon are like, I don't really. What this guy wants to ban the what? Ban the Misty card. Pokemon ban the Misty card. What's the banned Misty card? The banned Misty. Misty is without a top. Ah, yes, this is banned. Yeah, that's banned. So no. That's not. It was just a joke. I didn't know that there was a whole lore behind the fact that there's like Misty, who's isn't she like 15 or like 14? By the way, there's also, you know what's crazy about this? The first episode of Inuyasha shows Kagome topless, but she's like 15 or something. Because the whole story of Inuyasha, I didn't really register this when I was in high school. Because when I was in high school watching Inuyasha, I was like, oh shit, that could be me, right? Except I'm not like a cute anime girl. But only later, I was like, wait a minute, she was just topless in the show. And then she was like 15. And I was like, and then Inuyasha himself was like perving on her. And I was like, oh. And then they got married. And I was like, oh, I don't know about this. Jojo also has a nip slip from a minor in the manga. Man, that's, I mean, I'm not gonna say it, but there's something strange about manga and anime. Can I say this? I saw on perusing Reddit, because sometimes I do peruse Reddit, in the anime underscore IRL subreddit, which is, I'm pretty sure 99% hentai. There was one post about an anime involving a dude who picks up a high school girl and goes home and just starts taking care of her, and then eventually falls, like, it seems like they're gonna fall in love. So I read pages of it, because I was like, what the fuck is this story, right? Because the thing about it, right, is that the page that it showed didn't match the name. Like, it's like the page that it showed seemed like the kind of thing that you would do as an adoptive father. In the sense of, like, not taking someone home, but in the sense of, like, taking care of somebody. There's a certain level of, like, yearning that I have for some kind of story that tells my story, where I'm like, I don't know how to take care of these people, and I wish someone would tell my story. And so I thought it was going to be that, but no, it's just something. It's like a weird half romantic thing, and all comics that thinly veiled fetishes have various transparency. Oh yeah, explain this then. Explain how is this a thinly veiled? Flash jerks off Barry. Yeah? I don't think that's a thinly veiled fetish. He's very upfront about it, man. He's very upfront about this. Anyways, I think you're correct. But I think certain comics are way, way more into it. I've never seen a higher number of comics involving like high school girls than from Japan, which is strange because it's not like it's the only topic within manga because World of Core exists. Like this to me is a masterpiece of office lady romance, but it's also like one of the handful of office lady romance shows that I can think of. And it's a genuinely good office lady, manga romance, type of deal that's also now an anime, and it's actually really good. I actually have every single volume. It's actually extremely solid. But what's crazy is that it's one of the few out there that I can even point to within, the animation genre as a whole. A lot of animation is really relegated to like, kids, because obviously the main, I think, demographic are kids watching it. Oh, BRB. Sorry, my wife just called to hang out with me for a bit. Let me find that Gooner image because you're talking about some Gooning thing. Where's the Gooner AI images? Gooner, is it? What did I save it under? Did I save it on a Minion Gooner? Minion. Yeah, here you go. Never Goon 1, Never Goon 2. But yeah, it's fascinating to sort of see the state of it, where it's like there's not a lot of office lady material out there. Office lady stuff is incredibly rare within the realm of manga and anime, and it's specifically office like adults with adults. Like it reminds me of that meme image of like where Gynax adult woman fetish Reddit. Here we go. Adult woman fetish. Yeah, it's a bit like this. This I can probably show this because this is official art. So it's not hentai. This is like official concept art. Did someone at Gynax have an adult woman fetish? Adult woman fetish. It's a bit like that, where like it's really hard to find something within the realm of adult woman fetish for you to enjoy with an anime, which is unfortunate because I feel like it's a great medium for it because you really get to like, I don't know. There's a lot more complexity and there's a lot more interesting things once you get into adulthood. When I was a child, I thought those shows were kind of cool and like interesting with the ways that they were. But now that I'm an adult, I'm like, I kind of wish there was more stories about the adult life, because the adult life is incredibly more complex, but a lot more subtle about why it's more complex. It's very subtle about the complexities, because there's no longer a track that you have to follow. You're mostly just winging your life 99% of the time. That it ends up being more of a dynamic, free-form sort of exercise in how to live your life, basically. But you're not realizing that the title looks like it's going to show the pseudoscience, but it actually goes into articles that that disprove it. I've seen that happen a lot. There's a lot of videos that I've seen, or like a lot of like things where they say like, or where they do like they do a bait and switch where they go, oh, like they'll start off with like a very nonsensical statement, and then they'll say, but actually it's not this. It's because of these reasons. And I think it's an effective way of like dispelling the myths, because A, you get the clickbait, so because that video had 4.7 million views. B, though, I've also never heard of Brew, so I don't know. Like, who is Brew? What is Brew? Well, what is Brew? How do we get here from Emacs again? I don't know. Oh, okay, I'll talk about the Emacs thing after. Just remind me about the Emacs thing because I don't remember how I got here really. Also, I think my computer is crashing. Am I crashing? No, I'm okay. Who is Brew? What is Brew? Brew. Stop talking to me. Solving mysteries one cup at a time. Okay, I'm gonna just mute you. Solving mysteries one cup at a time. How gym class killed a boy in 4 days. How Reddit cracked a 40-year-old cold case police called impossible. What happened to the people who touched the Karankis meteorite? Popular. He likes coffee. How the internet hunted down the anonymous employee using his own photo. Yeah, this lettuce guy was crazy. Burger King foot lettuce, and they tracked him down with just that one photo because they based it off of like tiles and stuff. Yeah, I don't know I don't know why a lot of anime sort of goes into this realm of just. To be fair, though, it's like if you had to choose a genre that allows you the freedom to talk about any topic, I think the artistic freedom that you gain from animation and from manga in general and from writing, I think that's the only place where you could do it. Because it's not like Western books are necessarily immune to this, right? Like if you think about a Western book, you have things like, The House of Leaves, but you also have things like Lolita. It's like one of them is incredibly more taboo than the other and incredibly much more gross too but it's also sort of the point, right? It's sort of using these things to say something. Well, and then obviously the movie industry took it as like a fetish thing, and then the movie posters were like extremely like they didn't really get the point of the book. But basically, what I'm saying is like some mediums seem to be about some mediums seem to offer a level of freedom that you don't get from other mediums, and it's interesting to sort of see that play out in the topics that they touch on. The video of his about the chairs game. Yeah, I'm having a stroke. The video of his about the chairs game gave you a permanent phobia of vacuum chairs. Oh, yeah, the one where it like shoots up into your asshole, right? But you're not gonna not sit in them, so you just cope with it. So what's funny is that I don't know how to tell this to you, but you can get chairs that don't go up and down. Back in the olden days, people used to make chairs that would just stay stable, and you didn't really go up and down. In fact, back in the day. In fact, I would even argue you should get a hand crank standing table. Get a hand crank standing table from Staples Canada. It's expensive as fuck for Staples. Why is it so expensive, dog? Dude. And you use the hand crank to adjust it to your chair. This is incredibly expensive. Nah. Look, I'm just saying there are different alternatives to your chair having to be like that. Though I will say this, the static chair is no longer... I like seeing the oldest videos of a channel. What you're actually... Damn! When your first video makes 1.7 million, then you know that you're onto something, right? What you're actually eating when you order McNuggets, one sip of diet soda. They were on a roll since day one. Holy shit. I've heard actually that the first video that you make is one of the most important things for you to make, because if you do it well, the algorithm sort of like carries you all the way through. But to see that their oldest videos kept on going like this, except for like this, that's pretty nuts. Yeah, I'm just saying, you can get a chair that doesn't move, and however, the chairs that don't move, they're not made to a certain specification anymore, and they actually lack a lot of the niceties of a modern style of chair. Like a modern style of chair has different things about it that make it work very, very well, including but not limited to things like it can go up and down. You can sort of spread your legs on it. There's a lot more room to play with on the chair compared to like a static chair. There's a lot more room on a gaming chair than a static chair. You've seen a lot of channels that get launched by the algorithm with their first video. Yeah, so the algorithm is interesting. The only thing that I really know about it is that if you land on something, it will continually push you. And really, it makes sense because there's an incentive, right? They want to push things that people want to watch, because when people want to watch something, YouTube gets ad money to some degree. And it's crazy because that thing that gets popular is almost nonsensical why it gets popular. Because a lot of the things that get popular... I'm not saying this to be contrarian, although I sound contrarian, and I sound like that weird person who's like very contrarian. I don't get popular things very, very often. Like, I'm not big into Marvel movies. I'm big into, like I enjoy them. I'm not big into some of the more popular YouTube videos. Most of them are actually kind of like plain in the way that they talk about things. In fact, a lot of the content that you see about... I'm not saying that my stuff is any better. But I'm saying that, like, I'd rather take my time to just read a book or something, or like see a textbook, or watch a documentary, or like watch a movie, or like do anything else besides watching what's popular, just because usually what's popular doesn't really hold me. I don't know how to say this without being like a weird person who's like, oh yeah, I'm so cool, I'm so much better. I'm not saying that I'm so much better. I'm saying that because I don't get it, I can't enjoy it like everyone else. But it does work though, because what's popular has a very particular vibe to it that is very easily accessible. Like anybody can watch it and get into it for a very long period of time, and they can just simply sit there and bathe in it and have it just slowly build on them. Or they may even be able to stay engaged with it all the way through because it's sort of like easy pickings, right? It's the same way that I used to watch Friends and have it on in the background. Not because I like the show like very much, but because I really, really wanted to just have something there. And it was easy enough to consume. And I think that's how a lot of these popular things sort of go. Anyways, for the org mode thing, I don't even know how I got here. How did I get from here to this to that? Anyway, so the reason why I'm using Emacs... That's a crazy topic switch. To go from everything that we talked about into... Oh yeah, so the reason why I'm using Emacs is because... So, it's interesting because I don't care about the... personalities. It's about the personalities. I don't care about the idea of, who is a particular type of person, what kind of respect should you give them. Like this doesn't strike me as something that I really care about, right? I don't want my boss to step on me. Likewise, I don't care about the personality of somebody, right? I just want to use the tool. And I don't care about the idea of an editor word, nor do I care about the idea of like what's better or worse, because ultimately what's better or worse is something that you have to decide for yourself. So what I wanted to try was just try it out for org mode, because there's one thing that does really well. It's org capture. This is probably one of the best things I've used so far because it does exactly what you want it to do. You ever been in a situation where you have a README within a code file, but you're working across multiple different projects at the same time? Maybe someone's for work, maybe someone's for your personal life, maybe someone's for with your friends for like some weird jam or something. I don't know. Like I've been in that situation now. And you're doing it, and you're like, okay, well, how do we keep track of all this stuff? Well, I don't know. My life is hectic because I've got things to do like outside as well, and I need to write this down somewhere. So with org mode, you can set up a capture, and you can link directly to that file anywhere it is on your computer. So while you have a to-do in your code, you can also have a to-do in your notes that says, you know, this, and then you can be like, this is high priority. I need to fix this for this like project. And then you can go into your agenda, and you can see all of your tasks. And you can just see it there, and you can have it there for everything that you have for various different topics. And it's great because honestly, having used it for like, you know, a couple of days now, it really helps with organizing everything from very different sources. Because that was the one thing that I hated about Obsidian. I tried to make it work with bookmarks. I tried to make it work with a flow that could import it into it. I tried to make it work with a flow that could work with my code and with my life as well. The only thing I could make it work for successfully was specifically for the streaming schedule, because it's sort of like a daily schedule. It's easy. It's its own compact, sort of separate file format, separate from everything else, as well as sort of life to-dos like take out the trash, or well, not take out the trash, but like stuff like I gotta fix the light, or like I gotta replace like a battery in some camera or something, because like you know I've lost track of the deer in the woods, right? Stuff like that, like something very like. Things that you need to do, it's very good at. But things that you need to do across different sources that have different sources of truth, it's very bad at. And Obsidian wants to be the full source of truth, which isn't the bad thing. But for my sake and for my purposes, it didn't really fit, because sources of truth are typically spread out across different mediums. Like, the source of truth for code, you ideally want to be within your code base, because if it's not in your code base, the problem is that you're not really, like, no one can really know what's to do if you never record what's to do. But you also need to have it based on your own priority, what's relative to the other things that you have to do too. So it's been an interesting system to use. I also don't use the Emacs key bindings. I tried the Emacs key bindings where you hold control and you press the buttons, and my fingers got tired. Like it genuinely, I was like, this is stupid. It's the worst key binding I've ever seen in my life. It's one of the worst systems ever. Where you have to hold control, alt, shift. You have to like contort your fingers, and you have like, it's crazy because it's like because my pinky doesn't reach very far, and then I use my like pinky for control with my 3 fingers. I have to like stretch it. It doesn't feel good. And I'm like, I feel like the Evo mode is the superior way, but maybe that's just me with the level of I guess like past experience that I have with like Vim, where it's like Evo mode fits me, where it uses the like Vim key bindings. As well, I don't use just plain old Emacs because I couldn't figure out how to configure it. Though now I do know, it's too late for me. I'm using Spacemacs, so it's been interesting to say the least. I will say, Emacs is way easier to configure than Vim. NeoVim, Lua isn't a bad language. It's just I don't like it. It's not a bad language. I just don't like it. I don't like dealing with it. It doesn't really mesh well with what I'm trying to think about, and it doesn't really. I just don't get like I don't really get it, and I hate dealing with Lua on like larger scales because it's sort of confusing in a way. Lisp has its own issue. I think parentheses hell is a very sort of common thing. I remember even back then when I sort of worked with Lisp to some degree. It was already incredibly annoying with the amount of parentheses that you had to keep track of. But it's no less annoying than any of the scoping identifier, whether it's spaces or braces. So it actually works out roughly the same. But what's interesting is that the call syntax is basically the same. Like in Lisp, your call syntax is effectively universal. It's just the thing in front and then the arguments to to that thing. Obviously, everything can consume arguments differently, but for the most part, it's fairly straightforward to understand. It's very easy language. The only thing that you need to care about are built-in keywords. Otherwise, everything in terms of syntax is very basic. Um, so it was easy to like set up. I found this interesting too. So I'll read the chat messages after. But basically, I'm surprised at how many packages there are within the Emacs world that are mature. Like, so specifically, I was trying to figure out how to get like C# to work within NeoVim in a way that didn't suck ass because it's sort of annoying. There's a community plugin for the language server that's exposed by the Roslyn interpreter or whatever it is called from Microsoft. Because Microsoft's Roslyn whatever, I forget what it's called, interpreter SDK something, has its own LSP built into it. But it's also incredibly strange how it works. But like the one for Emacs has been there for years. It's been exposed since like day one. And it's an easy install from the LSP. There's a single repository for all Emacs packages called, Melpa. And these packages are like 15 to can be up to 15 years old. And they're incredibly stable, and there's one for everything. There's like a plugin or a package for every single thing, and it still gets new things even to this day. It's fascinating how stable and mature it is compared to something that is sort of newer that still has some rough spots, specifically around certain languages where you need to pull many different things in. Granted, I haven't tried to use it for every programming language yet, so maybe it'll get worse if I do something like, I don't know, TypeScript or something. But for now, it's been pretty good for C#. Although there's still no good story around how to deal with Razor files. I don't know how to deal with the Razor files. Neither language has a really good. I mean, neither environment has a really good. Aside from the paid for IDEs, nothing really handles Razor files very, very well. But but then it's like with org mode, it's hard for me to want to go back to like separate tools for everything. Not that separate tools are bad, but the ability to capture a link to a specific file on your file system, very handy. Anyways, the ones you've seen pop up on YouTube with the first video are usually the ones that are high-effort videos with a lot of animation and essays on some particular topics where there's a lot of demand for the content about the topic, but there's few people actually talking about it. So what's crazy is that you say that, right? But then you look at something like this. Down the rabbit hole, Final Fantasy House. You ever see this? I don't know anybody who cares about the Final Fantasy House. I don't know anybody who cares about Boat Murder. I don't know anybody who a lot of people care about EVE Online. But there's some topics that you don't really think about. Or look at this. Digital Homicide Studios. I don't even think that it has to be a topic that people care about, right? Okay, Sonichu and then Chris Chan, this was a crazy thing. But in general, I don't even think you need to have a topic that people care about. I think it's just easy listening topics where it's weird enough to interest you. And the way that it's written in a way that intrigues you the whole way through. Because I bet you if I watched the Brew video, I would not be able to stop watching. Because the people who can make these types of videos are extremely good at luring you in and keeping you into the cycle of listening and sort of responding and taking in what they've said and reacting to it. And then they keep building up upon these layers and layers of absurdity, no matter the topic, or even just not even absurdity. They're so good at being able to build upon these layers and layers of details to provide more and more and more of it, drip feeding you. And it's the same reason why Tom Scott does well, but it's the same reason why I don't think it has to be about a particular topic that has a lot of demand. Because for Tom Scott, too, it's like how many people care about brewing tea? But he makes a tea video, and you can't help but want to watch the whole thing. And gets millions of views. It's because I don't think they need the topic to be interesting. I think the topic could be downright boring. But these people are so good at saying it and telling it in a way that you can't help but want to listen. And you can't help but want to consume what it is they're saying, because they're so good at carrying your focus and attention all the way through. They're so good at drip feeding you. They make you addicted. Except for maybe the audiobook. This one got 80k views. The Call of Cthulhu Part 1 audiobook. I don't want to hear people talk. Okay, what, okay, where's the video? It's not here. You need to rebind control for it to be more comfortable. Yeah, I didn't even bother with that because the thing about so this is the thing that I hate about key bindings that require you to hold a modifier, right? Control C and Control V are easy to use because they're both on the bottom row. Whenever you get a key binding system that requires you to hold a modifier and then forces you to reach for the top row, it's already missed the point. Those modifier keys can only really be used the further down it is. You ever play League of Legends and you level up and you try to quick level some skill, and you try to quick skill up some skill with Control Q, W, E, or R, and you have to contort your fingers to press Control Q to get your main damage skill most of the time? That's what it feels like compared to something like, say, I don't know, Control, like a copy paste, where you do you can do Control C, your fingers never stretch, it's on the bottom, and you can comfortably reach Z to B, maybe even up to N, and then maybe even M with your thumb, right? It's not the same way the other way around. And that's also the problem that I had with Emacs default key binding, is that you have to stretch your hand, which is a very uncomfortable and unnatural state of movement. Because I don't know about you, I never really stretch my fingers that far. Maybe if I played piano, I would, right? Maybe I'd feel more of it when playing piano. But a flute? You don't really gotta go that far. Saxophone, you don't really gotta go that far. A guitar, my biggest problem with a guitar is not the stretching, it's the keeping my fingers down without it hurting, right? So there's like different things that you can sort of get used to instead of the common parlance that most people I think are used to. But to stretch your fingers really far to press a certain key combination feels much more niche than something like, oh, getting like a gripping pressure, something that closes in on itself versus necessarily opening up. You guessed that too. I'm assuming about the thing about the way that they talk about topics. The one you were thinking about was an exclamation point who made an analysis of SEO abridged as his first video. Yeah, see? I don't think there's a hankering for that. I don't, because like, this is the thing, right? I think you specifically, this chatter is a specifically very analytical chatter, let's say, right? But I think most people who watch shows or just sort of hear these topics would only really stop at the surface level of enjoying it, right? Not to say that they wouldn't enjoy an analysis of it, but it's not really something that you really think about, nor is it something that you seek out. It's not really a topic that comes to mind, but it's the way that they say it, and it's the way that they talk about it that makes you go, oh, it's really interesting. And I think there's like multiple key aspects, but the main one I think is, one, they can write and continue to write in a way that keeps you drawn into it. But I'm actually thinking about this too. There's another aspect that I sort of didn't bring up too, but now I'm realizing every single one of those types of videos has, and it's specifically your word of analysis, is that they go very deep into understanding what it is and disseminating that to you. They're inseminating you with their analysis. They're inseminating you with their analysis of this thing. And their analysis is not surface level. Because when you engage with something, most people only really have the time to engage with it on a surface level. To do a full like media literacy deep dive, you require a whole good, maybe multiple hours to go through something. And that's with things that you can watch, right? If it's a game, you might be talking about days to weeks to months to really be able to remember everything and understand everything and break everything down and break down these like details, because you have to play it. You have to play them, like be good at the game to be able to see these things, right? But something that you can watch in 2x speed and you sort of get to the major points and sort of recollect yourself. With a game, you got to be good at the game to get back to where you were to remember what to do. But you also lose that feeling initially that might be important to it too. That feeling of you don't know what's going on. Right? And then you sort of see things with a different lens before and after. It's sort of why keeping notes as you go through things is interesting, but it's also a very complex task to do, and most people just want to sit down, unwind, and enjoy the thing. So you know what? I think your keyword of analysis fits. I think the other reason why these videos work so well and why they always get popular is because the person who's telling you about the stuff is packaging up their analysis of it in a way that you yourself can easily understand, while not necessarily acting as an authority, but almost trying to communicate something that is so obvious so as to be sort of widely agreed upon, let's say, if that makes sense. Like, they're not trying to be an authority on something. They're not trying to assert some level of like, this is what I know and this is what is true. They're trying to do it in a way that if you had the time to watch it and to figure it out yourself, you would have figured it out too. Basically, they're trying to make you feel smart. Yeah, exactly. They're inseminating you. Is there a inseminate? Seminate. Terminate? Jominated. Dominated. Unlimited power. Price check. Who is this? Dominated Ip Man. That's fucked up. You know what the scene is? This scene is when he's fighting off, the like Japanese people who have taken over his land, and he's beating down the person, who've been sent to fight him because the first fighter was shot in front of him. Like this is a very sort of like powerful and gut wrenching scene, and it's being used as a meme. Okay, well, semen. Maybe semen has a thing. Keyword semen. That's a lot. Sonic cum. My trucks are Shelby. Who are the ones that I never understand? Are these emotes involving other streamers in their own rooms? Like I've never seen these people in my entire life, ever. I've never seen them in my entire life, and yet they seem to show up constantly in these emote lists. And I'm like, buddy, who are you? Not to say that like they're not necessarily, I'm not saying that. Okay, I'm not saying that it's bad for you to be well known or something, or that it's bad to be egotistical. I think. Okay, by the way, this is funny. Seaman Selena. It's not bad to be well known in some way, and so be like pushed to be your own character, right? But I want shit like this. What? Semen Infinito? What does that even mean? Anyways, yeah, that's what I think those videos are, and that's why I use Emacs. And I don't know how we got from here to there. The sponge? What do you mean the sponge? Where's the sponge? What sponge? My Firefox is messing up. I might crash. Let's try and see how this goes. We only have about 30 minutes until I need to go to do the co-op thing. So maybe let's say 20 minutes. We'll just start a very, very quick run of Tales and Tactics. I'll get into it. We'll come back after we're done the co-op stuff with the headliners. And then we'll finish it off from there. Today is going to be a fairly busy day. It'll be a fairly long day. Maybe we'll end in like 6-7 hours. I don't really know how long the co-op session is going to take. But again, as a recap, we're doing the headliners with a couple of other people, and then we're going to be doing Tales and Tactics as well. I won't spoil who it is yet. I want to sort of keep that as a surprise. Today as well, I have a new song for you all that's going to sort of, I guess, not really set the mood, but I think it's just sort of interesting to listen to these songs. These songs are interesting because my wife actually told me, she was like, yeah, honey, it got really popular all of a sudden. And you know what's crazy? If you go to YouTube and you search the name of this song and you search sort of what the music video is, what you find is a bunch of people reacting to it. But what's interesting is that the reactions are coming from gaming channels. So people who play games on YouTube are reacting to this song, and they're acting as if it's the first time they've ever heard music in their entire life. But I mean, buddy, this can't be the first time you've ever heard this. But at the same time, I forget the world is a very large place. I just don't know why gaming channels in particular have really picked up on this thing. It's a song called Buck Bling, which is a sort of... It's hard to explain. It's the first half of the name is sort of the beginning half of the name of like a region in Vietnam. The second half is like, it's bling bling. You know what I mean? Like you're all blinged up, dog. Like you got some nice, like you're making... like you were making bonker bucks bling, like you've got the bling on you, right? That's what the song is sort of titled as. And the song is interesting, and I'm surprised it got popular, because when my wife told me, I had no clue. When she told me that it got popular, I was surprised because it's a very, very, very different type of song from most modern tastes. I've played Vietnamese songs before that have had a very sort of traditional bend, right? But those songs have a traditional bend. They're not so heavily traditional as this song, but I think the traditional aspect of this song is what makes it so unique, because this one blends in modern elements. It's not the other way around. It's not a modern song that's blending in a traditional theme. It's a traditional song that blends in modern elements to make its own sort of interesting mix of things. The music video is also fantastic because it sort of shows a lot of the culture that's sort of within that region as well. Because Vietnam's a very... It's hard to explain this to people, but like whenever people ask me about, especially my friends, like I have one friend who'll ask me like, yeah, what's this like Vietnamese snack? And I go, buddy, Vietnam is a region comprised of like 50 different cultures. I don't know, like I'm an expert only in like maybe 12 of them. You have to be more specific, man. And he's like, yeah, but like, the Vietnamese snack. And I'm like, buddy, of the 50 cultures, like 40 of them fled during the war, right? Like we have a diaspora built up of like many different people from various different regions. Like I don't know how to tell you this, but like you can't just say what the snack is and give me a generic description of the ingredients and expect me to figure it out because there's so much overlap. But this happens constantly, where it's like, whether you're talking about China or Vietnam or America or Canada or Australia, it's like all these different places. There's a lot of differences from every single particular piece of the entire region from the next that makes it very difficult for you to be able to sort of talk about it as a whole. We only talk about these places as a whole because that's how they present themselves on the geopolitical stage. But in reality, a lot of these places and a lot of the things that sort of go on there and a lot of the things that they create and get up to are so specific to them that it's also a foreign concept for somebody who's probably lived their whole life in like a neighboring portion of that same place. So it's interesting. But this video sort of shows some of that, where somebody who's like in the main city of like Ho Chi Minh probably doesn't know much about this, for instance, let's say. Also, turns out that video was not his first video, but close enough. Oh, about the SEO explanation. Well, maybe that's a good sign then. I should make a video analyzing this music video, and maybe I'll get major hits. But please do enjoy the song. I think it's a great song. Just be warned, it's very loud and there's a lot of different pieces to it. And you'll have to sort of sit with it, but I think you'll enjoy it once you really sort of allow yourself to really sort of if you just allow yourself to be transported somewhere else, I think you'll really enjoy the song. It's a very, very, very traditional song marked by modern elements. And you could hear it very, very clearly. Like, basically, aside from the rapping and sort of the backing beat, the entire song is basically just a traditional song that is playing the entire time and is almost orchestrated around itself. And it's almost as if the beats and the rapping and even portions of the singing, portions of like Hua Minzi singing, especially within the sort of like the melodical portions of her singing, are built around this traditional backdrop, right? It's a very fascinating song because, again, a lot of songs I've showed you so far are modern songs that take traditional elements. The producer of this song, Matthew, is also sort of like not a stranger to this type of like concept. They've made songs that are very traditionally pop, very traditionally sort of like hip hop, and they've also sort of made songs with like mixes of traditional things, but never to this degree. I at least I can't recall. So the sound of this is very fascinating because it sort of shows the viability of such a musical landscape in a world that has sort of felt like it's moved on from it, or at least forgotten it, right? To me, I think a lot of the old music from back then has just been forgotten. We sort of forgot why it sounds like this. We sort of forgot, what were the reasons that it became like this. And because it sort of like got dwarfed in popularity, we don't really see experiments like this that try and take it to a new level and try to take it to a new modern context. What's interesting is that the singer of the song is like roughly the same age as me, and she's way more successful too. So I'm like, fuck. But it's fascinating to sort of see it all come together and actually end up being a very cool project. The music video is also very strange, but aside from the old man, everything there is a very accurate. Well, not accurate. Well, pieces of it are very accurate. It's like obviously very, very sort of clean for the sake of the music video and like very fun, but it is obviously like it's. Having any sort of showcase of your culture is like very cool, right? Obviously not specifically mine. Mine is sort of a whole different region that I won't really get into because it's sort of like a different region due to various different topics and like the war and all that stuff. But let's just say that it's a very different sort of, at least it's cool to see something there, right? And yeah, it's fascinating to sort of see a lot of these different styles of music be relegated to almost a specific genre of entertainment. Like, you ever hear traditional sort of Chinese opera has this problem where Chinese opera is sort of like sandboxed into a very specific use case, where it's meant for these sort of like very, very sweeping emotional moments. But then you have modern day songs that sort of remix that as a backdrop that sound amazing in like very different contexts. This song, for instance, could absolutely work within, you know, its own sort of like contexts that aren't just traditional Vietnamese contexts, right? Like you don't need to have traditional, almost like a Vietnamese village backdrop for this song to work. You can just throw it anywhere. And it just goes to show the versatility of the sounds that are there that haven't really been explored much in my mind. Like a lot of the sounds that are sort of it's I don't want to say typical, but a lot of the sounds that make up the characteristic feel of Vietnamese music in terms of the traditional sets of instruments that our culture has had for quite literally centuries. A lot of it has just been sort of relegated as not that important and sort of worn out and dated in this modern age of like hyper produced, hyper sort of hyper fictional instruments playing, if that makes sense. Like a lot of things that you hear are done with sounds that are created digitally trying to emulate something real, when the real thing, and especially something that has this much like texture to it, can be used in such a way so as to sort of inject a whole different feeling and a whole different life to a song in a way that I think what's sort of popular out there can't. And it's sad to see. It's sad to see sort of how little it's being used, because I feel like there's so much, there's so many possibilities there. I mean, even something as simple as last time when I showed you all the various drums in Vietnamese culture, like the bronze drums, and how each one sounded, or that person on the rock instrument, which I can't remember anymore. The Vietnamese rock drum. I can exploit you in your mind. I don't want you here anymore. I don't want you here anymore. Where is the rock? No, I don't want people who are making rock songs. I want people to show me like the actual rocks. Vietnamese drum. Where is the rock? Where now I get Vietnamese shorts. See me in 15 minutes. Yep, I know. Don't worry. I'm keeping track of the time. Also, look at these, man. Look at these shorts, man. What is this? What's okay? Can I say something about these shorts? There's something interesting about these shorts. Okay, just listen to it for like a bit. So it's a very, very sort of it's a user short. It comes from channels like this, and these channels have no relation to these people. It's just a constant. It's just a giant repost channel of like what this feels like a Gune channel where they're just reposting this stuff constantly. Oh god, I don't really know what's the point of this, because A, they're not really making money from it, obviously, because they're getting four views each, right? So I don't really know why they do this. However, B, then you sort of say the same thing about me. I'm not making money from it, but I'm just doing it for fun, right? But I'm not putting my good material out there. Like, look at this. It's a whole different song. It doesn't make any sense. So it's like, I don't really get the point of this, but it's the fact that they flood your feed constantly. And mind you, I don't know what my feed is on this channel, but it's definitely not, it's not sane, to say the least. I'm trying to find the goddamn rock. What's the rock called? It's that one video that I showed you all. Now it's gone. I can't find that like one rock. Where's that rock? It's like a bunch of rocks laid out in like a whole pattern. And look at this. Look, it's the same video over and over and over from different fake channels. Because look, we saw that same drum here. But this is, oh, it's the same account. Sorry. Okay, to be fair, that does look fun. But you know what I mean? Like, it's, I'm trying to find that rock. Sweening FZ dance. What is this? The Vietnamese drum double dance you want. Vietnamese drum dance. Burning dance? What is this? What? I'm the most popular with a tire below. All dance too. Whose childhood loves by to Opa Opa shake. Daejin Jia shake too. Ancient style sways and discovers old knowledge. What? Ready go Tomoyo dark hair heads Jetman. What does that even mean? She stood stomped in the drag challenge. What does that even mean? Dance on the foot. What does that even mean? What is this, man? There's like AI. There has to be something. dude, these are some crazy AI videos that I'm seeing here. South Asian Vietnamese drum dance. What is this shit? Where's my rock? I want to find the rock drum, man. What? Okay, I don't get the point of of YouTube search. If I do this search in Google, I get better results, right? 21K, 7K. Okay, sure, that's like cool and all, right? If I do it off of Google, if I go to Google and I go Vietnamese drum, and it goes to YouTube, I get way better videos. Way better videos. I get stuff like this. Well, okay, well, this one's also suspect, actually. Now, this one's also suspect. Check this amazing drum out. But you know what I mean? Like, you get a whole different set of things that you're seeing. But here, it's like, as soon as you get to page 2, it's just a bunch of slop. Why is this so much like YouTube? I don't know, like AI slop. Also, I'm realizing since it's only like 10 minutes out, we'll do something else. So we'll swap the order. We'll do the headliners in details and tactics. I always talk a bit too much, and that's a problem with me. And I need to talk less. But maybe it's fine to talk about things because honestly, some of these things are almost incomprehensible. Vietnamese drum is new again. Shoot it with your friends, and you'll learn the series. Like, what does it even mean? New Vietnam drum mix. Get ready to dance. What? Vietnamese drum dance. Vietnamese drum dance queen. No, buddy, I'm trying to find like drums. What is this? Renaissance classic appearance tick trend dance map Vietnamese. This is keyword slop, man. Renaissance classic reappearance tick trend dance map Vietnamese drum card dance is back once you. Can I say something too? There's something funny about the fact that Vietnamese music has almost taken over TikTok. It's like a lot of people use Vietnamese music and the various remixes for TikTok. This guy dances a lot, actually. Ow, ow, ow! And then these channels are filled with these, and there's like nothing else in them. What is with all these actually? Well, why is there so many? There has to be like. There's no way someone's manually uploading these, right? Because look, oh, finally something weirdly interesting in terms of like maybe it's I don't know, you like get to see the real thing to some degree, right? Like oh, that's like nice, or you get to see what Ramayana from Vietnam. What? Why are you so muffled, man? But you know what I mean? Like now you get to see some really interesting things, maybe on the side. Diddy Child. I don't get the point of YouTube. So honestly, I don't know what happened, but I feel like on YouTube, if you don't follow specific channels that you want to watch, a lot of your shit ends up being garbage. The way that you see things, right? Like a lot of things that you see end up being almost nonsensically. Just sort of seem nonsensical and almost like fake. Like everything just feels fake. Like it's literally just pages and pages of what feels like just straight up weird AI generated content that's just there to just pull people in. And it's just pages and pages of it. It used to be that you could find some really cool videos, some video essays, like maybe a Tom Scott thing, okay? Like how is tea made? And you could get something from like Science Channel or I mean not Science Channel or like how it's made actually has an episode on this, really? Wait a minute, this is not how it's made. I swear to God, how it's made was a TV show with a different narrator and a whole different intro. Why is it like a whole different? Okay, so now there's like AI versions of like old TV shows, or like Inside of Food. You know what I mean? Like you would get stuff like this. I'm surprised that there are no shorts actually. What is this? This looks like it was made in a prison. This feels like a prison video. I'm sorry, man. This feels like a prison video. Farmer Leaf. Is drinking tea really healthy? Tea factory nightmares. More insights on the current pu'er tea market crisis and the future of the industry. Do you guys know that there's actually a matcha shortage at the moment? There's a major mattress shortage, and no one really knows what to do about it. But apparently, the amount of tea that you can get is now severely limited because the popularity has sort of outgrown the amount that can be produced, which is crazy. Because for a period of time, there was a point in time where there wasn't enough interest within tea to drive the amount of production that was needed to cover it too. Like there was too much being produced and not enough being sold that it eventually ended up being like a bad thing. We're going to get off this like trail of like trash and just sort of move on from there. But yeah, in about 7 minutes, we're going to move on to playing some the headliners with the crew. For those of you who don't know the headliners, it's that one weird game where you go in and you take a bunch of photos of things. I'm gonna get things set up now, so please enjoy some background music as I sort of set things up. I don't know how long the setup is going to take because my setup is a bit weird and wonky too. So I need to figure out how to do this. So give me a moment. I'll be back, and when I'm back, we'll be starting the headliners. We're gonna be playing with a couple of familiar faces. Actually, we're playing with Noggy. We're playing with Athel, specifically the Athel of Athel and Red, of which there's two of them. How do you spell your name again, Noggy? The Nogidiot. Sorry, that was me. And as well as Hebesaurus, who is a longtime member and even has her own emote, which is just an herb, which is hilarious to me because the herb is really, that's just a great emote, honestly. To use the herb for somebody who's basically like a dinosaur but also like a plant, solid name. So yeah, when I'm back, we're gonna be playing with them. Then we're going to continue our run from last time. Because last time was very fun, but we never really got very far into the game, so we'll see how far we can go. BRB, and I'll just sit here for a moment. We're going to move on to Tales and Tactics, but I have a song for you, a very old song that it's funny because people have a weird, I guess, like, understanding of this song. What's funny about the song is that apparently a bunch of people know this song and have heard this song in a different place than what most people have heard it from. For context, it's hard to explain, but there was a period of time when a bunch of products would come out and they would just have music in them for no reason other than just because they wanted some music in them. And it's interesting because you wouldn't really expect a toy to have like a licensed song, and yet it was there. And what's funny is that this toy, apparently every single child in the world had this song, because the comments for the music video on this song are hilarious in terms of how widespread it is. Because it seems like everybody has had the same experience of having this one toy that has a song that everyone can recall and remember, and they all have the same context of where this came from. So the song itself, I'll pin the link to the song itself. I want you to go to that music video and just listen to, or just read all the comments on there, and try to guess what the song is as I BRB. Please enjoy "Butterfly" by Smile, a song that I found in a completely different context, more of like a clubbing type of context compared to what other people found it in, a Barbie phone. I'm not really sure what that means. There's something funny about the fact that everyone had the same style of toy that had this song. The song was apparently licensed everywhere. I'm pretty sure the Wikipedia page for it last time I saw also mentions the fact that it was known everywhere. Again, that was Butterfly by Smile.dk. What's interesting is that it's the toys that had it. Apparently it's not like licensing, but it is okay. So Wikipedia says this. Wikipedia says, the song. Wait, how do I show the? Don't show, never show. How do I? You don't remember this song? To be fair, my context with the song is this. So everyone has the context of the song with this, okay? This song's chorus is notorious for being sampled in many counterfeit toys, most likely without permission. And you can actually see this by going to YouTube. I'm not kidding you. Barbie phone song. And you Google Barbie phone song, and you get this. And apparently these were so widespread that millions of people remember this. Had those as a kid, so much nostalgia. Who else had this as a child and is getting so much nostalgia? And look, I feel like almost everyone had a toy that would play the song. Little sister Barbie phone, me flexing and playing this on my phone, telling you I had the full version. I knew the full version of the song before because I wasn't supposed to be there, but my brother and sister were tasked with the babysitting me. And when they didn't want to babysit me, but they had to, and they wanted to go out like clubbing with their friends, they would sneak me into the club. So imagine like this like 8-year-old child just sitting there in the club while everyone's drinking, and I'm just sort of there playing my like Game Boy, and in the background, ay, I'm your little butterfly is like playing at the same time. There's something funny about that. So my context with the song is completely different from most people. I've heard the song was like very popular when it dropped for like clubs and raves and like house music stuff like that. But yeah, apparently most people's exposure to the song is through a toy phone, a series of counterfeit toys that would play this song. I actually tried for a long time to get my hands on one of these to show you. However, all I ended up getting was a stylophone, which I can actually recreate the meme. So what's that meme again? Let's go meme. No, what's that? Let's go car meme. Here we go. I can recreate this meme perfectly. And unfortunately, I can't do the smile song, but I can do this. Anyways, yeah, I just wanted to show you all that song. It was an interesting trip down memory lane because my memories of it are specifically tied to the fact that I got snuck into clubs by my siblings because they had to babysit me, but they didn't want to. And so to hear that song all of a sudden sort of get popular for some reason, for like just it sometimes has a resurgence and people just keep talking about it. And then to see it sort of Barbie's embarrassing phone background. What is this? What is this? This is the official Barbie YouTube? Wait, the official Barbie YouTube has like tons of Barbie clips. What's this? Barbie, a touch of magic. Just the beginning. Believe. I believe. Can't stop us. Official Barbie. Barbie, extra minis. Barbie, roll with it. Barbie? Barbie. Barbie Makeover Magic. Barbie Doll Adventure Season 3, Episode 8. What? It's a show? Some of us grew up in a very different time compared to everyone else. We're going to move on now into Tales and Tactics for maybe 1 to 2 hours. It's actually a pretty fun patch. I was playing it last night, and I think they've once again nailed exactly what makes the game so good, and they've only made it better. I'll get into sort of what the patch is about. Give me a moment to set things up. That's it for me. I'm going to bed. Well, not bed, but I have to go. Do some links. As you could probably tell, the fire alarm did go off a couple times, so I need to help fix that really quick. Thanks for watching. Today was fun. Fun to play some headliners and hang out with Noggy, Athel and Red, and Hebasaurus. So please do give them a follow. I keep forgetting to shout people out, and the shout out is gonna take forever. So just like I don't know, maybe I'll just like hit them with an @ and you can just follow them piece by piece. Okay. So just go and follow them. Click on their names. I don't really know what to do. Just like copy those names somewhere and just see them. And thanks for showing up, everyone. Tomorrow, we're going to be going back to some more of the classic things that we've been doing, as well as some weird games. I've got some weird things lined up for you all. So again, more of a mix of some new things to keep the flow of everything going, and then some old things that we need to finish off and continue on, like Blueprints, which I never got to finish yet. So we'll see how that goes. I'll see you all tomorrow. Promise I won't be late. Today was just sort of a very sort of hectic morning for me. And I stayed up till 5 a.m. playing Tales and Tactics. It was very hard to put that game down. So, bye everyone. Have a good night. There's no one to raid. See you all soon.